Get it.
And welcome back to another episode of the Paranormal Trucker. I am the Paranormal Trucker, or PT for short. Obviously, PT means Paranormal Trucker, not pretty tasty. Nothing. Okay, just crickets.
I thought it was
respond. I forgot.
Oh my gosh, so funny that everybody just crickets. I love it. Joining us today is my favorite spooky family. Well, at least 2/3 of them. I have Elliot and Gertie with us. Say hello.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hello.
And my co-host, as always, Snowman and the lovely Large Marge.
Hey.
And so what have you guys been into this week?
What have we done?
Don't everyone go at
work.
once.
Of course, we did go to drove all the way to Belfry. Marge's grandson plays for Covington Catholic. They played Belfry.
That's right. And we beat them.
Yeah, it was kind of a blowout. And then, but we didn't get home till like 2:00 in the morning. We're too old for that.
Yes. Yes.
That just about put us down.
I'm too old for that.
I don't like anything much after 11 o'clock anymore.
In the morning, 11 o'clock in the morning. That's me.
Yeah, exactly.
My best time is from 8 to 11. Then I'm done for the day. I can't
Need a nap and
yeah,
exactly.
Can't function anymore after that.
Well, we have a listener email from this week. It's 2 weeks in a row. You guys keep it up.
We got groupies.
No, it's awesome.
We got 2 of them now. Yeah, we got groupies.
Yeah, we could say with an S.
Lizard.
I got my lizards following us. But so this is an email from her name is Tanya. She used to listen to us on the other show that I was on.
We love Tanya. Tanya's awesome.
Yes, definitely. Hopefully new friend of the show, Paranormal Trucker. The subject line is Cronkite with several exclamation points. That's how you know. That's how you know she's happy to have found me. She says, "I found you!" Exclamation point. Thanks to Elliot and the Spooky Family. I found your new video podcast. I am so excited to hear from you again. It has been such a long time. I love the format and Snowman and Large Marge. That seems mean, though. You are such a wonderful host. You and Elliot have really grown into amazing hosts. So glad to have found you, and I can't wait to keep up with your adventures. Tanya. Well, thank you, Tanya, for the
shout out to Tanya.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for finding us, and glad to have you on board. Now, yes, in any other context, the name Large Marge would be very mean. However, if you watch Pee-wee, what is it, Big Adventure? Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
Yes.
Yeah. Big
Large Marge is a character on that show. Just makes a small. Yeah,
Who is my favorite?
Yeah, and so when we were picking our CB handles, I'm the Paranormal Trucker, Snowman, obviously from Smokey and the Bandit, and Large Marge from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
You know, there are a couple movies. There are a couple movies from when I was young that just basically destroyed my brain.
Right.
That scene is one of them for sure.
But it's so great. And Pee-wee was so shocked. Ah!
I know he turned into that character. That's funny. Everybody could do Pee-wee.
I wish I would get up and do my Pee-wee dance, but
big shoe dance.
Yeah, the big shoe dance. Yeah, exactly. Oh, did you know that the actor that played Pee-wee turned 69 this week?
Ruben.
Yeah.
Oh, Ruben.
Yeah, 60. I can't believe he's that old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
what a nasty age to be.
That's appropriate for Pee-wee, given his history.
Oh.
Poor guy. I mean,
He was just enjoying himself in a movie theater.
He was caught up in the moment, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Marge has a good joke about that.
Oh no. Is it clean? Is it
Somewhat,
clean enough for the paranormal trucker is the question.
probably.
50%.
What's it a joke about?
Pee Wee.
Oh,
in the movie theater?
yes. Oh, you know it, don't you?
Do you want to share it with us, or is it clean? Is it clean enough for us there, Marge?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be clean enough. Yeah. It's borderline, but it could be.
Okay. Well,
what's the 3 famous men who were shot in the back of the head in history?
oh no, I know where this is going.
John F. Kennedy, Abraham Lincoln, and the guy sitting in front of Pee Wee Herman.
Oh.
Thump, thump.
And that's the technical question. Tune in next week.
Well, this will be the last episode of the Paranormal Trucker. We have been blocked officially. No, it seems like anything that comes out of Snowman or Large Marge's mouth on a weekly basis
Sometimes I can't stop it.
would cancel us in a heartbeat. But so far, we're still here.
I've behaved a whole lot.
That's true.
So just a really quick connection to the Spooky family. Paul Rubens and Cassandra Peterson, the lady who plays Elvira, are like best friends in real life.
Really?
And yeah. And Gertie and I went to a scary movie, horror movie convention, and Gertie probably dropped at least $300 on Elvira autographs.
Really?
Not just one autograph, multiple autographs.
Autographs.
Floral.
Yes.
Yeah.
Over about 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Well,
You know, I can't
love
really.
her.
Yeah, I can't really say anything. When you like something, you like something. I went to the Little Alien out in I think it's either Rachel or Helen, Nevada.
Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel, Nevada. And it's on the extraterrestrial highway. Of course, it's been in movies and documentaries and the news and everything. And it has this little crappy gift shop there. And I walked out there with like $300 worth of stuff and all of the stuff in my arms, just trying to get to the truck. So, I mean, when you find something you like, you just like it. You got to do
That's me at Gatlinburg when I see quilts.
it.
That's my problem.
That can
I
get
have a-
expensive really fast.
I know they do, but God, I want every one of them.
So, Elliot and Spooky Family, what you guys got going on the next little bit?
Oh, we got some interviews coming up. Let's see. This week should be Christopher Epling, the author of the Bigfoot Hillbilly Paranormal Survivor Guide.
Oh, very nice.
Oh,
Amazing. Yeah, listen, amazing book, amazing artist. He's just an all-around nice guy. He's just a cool guy to talk to. Then next week, we have a little interview with a group of people called the Paranormal Trucker Show.
Oh, I've heard of those guys.
Yeah,
Huh.
so that'll be out.
I've heard they're great.
I heard I heard they're copying off somebody. I don't even know who that is. But
Yeah, that's the rumors.
Yeah.
That's the rumors.
Yes.
I still
Actually,
can't
we found dates, and it may have only been by a couple weeks, but we were first.
Yeah, I can't believe that guy. But I mean, check your facts. But anyway,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, he could have looked that up first. But anyway, we got, and
Right.
then after that, we start our march towards Halloween, and we're just going to do some like spooky content, do some scary movies, and make a scary song playlist for any Halloween party or Halloween stuff. And it's untelling. We've got a trip planned to Somerset, the International Paranormal Museum down there, and I don't know. It'll be a little bit of everything. We're hoping.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and we may have talked to a Bigfoot expert here or there. You know, you never know.
That sounds like you guys
And you
have got a
know
lot
what?
planned.
Elliot wasn't with us last week. When we were telling people that we got new toys.
Oh, no,
We got an EVP or something.
EMF.
That's it. An EMF. That's it. EMF.
Yeah.
And we got what else did we get?
A couple of flashlights, and I have a video camera.
No. We got
Oh,
two different.
we got an EVP and an EMF.
That's it. Yes.
And
So we have our ghost hunting equipment now. And we have two
Yeah,
flashlights.
I forgot about that too. We got the ghost hunt coming up at the end of September. I don't know how that slipped my mind, but I forgot about that. That
We're
hopefully
all
you guys
ready
will.
for it.
Yeah, you guys will be coming with us, and I think we're going to have some more friends that show up to do a little podcast all-star ghost hunt. So that should be fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, listen for that. We're going to record while we're there. We're going to try to do some live stuff. So who knows?
Very cool.
Be
Yeah,
fun.
we're all ready.
I am ready and willing to go right now, except it's daytime and it's hot. So
Yeah.
we'll wait and see if it cools off a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this summer stuff that's been happening lately.
No, it's just been too humid, hot, and when it's not humid and hot, it's raining.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of that.
And it only rains for a couple minutes, and then the sun comes out, and it makes it even worse.
Not over here.
No.
No, not over here.
Gosh, mighty, it rains for days.
That's ridiculous.
We're living in a monsoon season now.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's stupid. I mean, we should just go to. We should all just move to Florida.
I'm there.
I'm on board.
It takes me about 20 minutes to throw some clothes in a bag. And we got a camper.
There you go.
So we're off. We're going Labor Day up to Northern Kentucky. We're going to camp right on the river. We'll be fishing and we'll be doing some ghost hunting stuff too. We're going to take our little equipment.
Awesome. Good deal. Where are you going to? Like,
We're actually going to stay in Indiana. It's called Vivi. It's right across the river from the Kentucky Speedway.
so
Oh, there's that.
you'll be close to, well, I mean, you won't be like close, super close, but you'll be close to Louisville. And I saw that Waverly Hills is starting in September. They're doing a night with Michael Myers. Have you seen that?
No.
It's insanity.
They're going to have like the actor who played Michael Myers in the Rob Zombie remake. I guess he's actually going to be Michael Myers there at Waverly Hills and like chase you around or whatever. I don't know exactly. I didn't really read into it. I just saw it and I was like, okay, well, that's that's something fun for Halloween.
Oh, dang,
Yeah.
that would be wild.
Well-
My daughter actually stayed there. So, woo.
Sorry, I'm a little distracted
But
here.
we won't be too far
Snowman.
from there. Maybe
You're,
an hour.
Awesome.
Well, I'm a little distracted here, Snowman. Your ignorant daughter has decided to start texting me profusely while I'm in the middle of something here.
Well, okay, just tell her that you're in the middle of something.
You know as well as I do that doesn't mean anything to her.
Well, don't be nice.
I am
Hey,
being
man.
nice.
Be nice.
Family, put it on the podcast.
Yeah. She got some good stories. I can guarantee it.
Yes.
Well, yeah, we could do that.
Tell her to get up there and put her on there for a minute.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
No, we could. Yeah,
He's going to kick your butt.
I mean, I guess the quality of the show can go down some. It's okay.
Stop.
You hush.
Bar. Oh,
Hey, listen, the
He
further I
can't.
get into podcasting, the further I've decided that I'm just going to start inviting people like that just walk by my house. I'm going to be like, hey, you want to come in here and be on the podcast?
Yeah, that's probably the best.
Listen,
Well-
you'll find stories out that you had no clue even existed. You know what I mean? Just like random people.
here we'll start bringing our pets
Oh.
on so they can come and
Oh.
talk. Say hi, everybody.
Buddy.
Hey, Chuck.
Say, my name's Chunk. Yes, sirree. I'm Chunk. Just me.
That's all.
All righty.
Oh, I kicked him in the head by mistake.
Well,
Poor dude.
poor guy.
He's
So-
bad. He's a little character.
So from the just got confirmation that your daughter says, I suppose I could. I guess it's going to kill her to walk in here and talk to you people.
Well,
I suppose I could.
She's such a dick.
Stop that.
stop.
Stop that.
I thought I raised you better than that. Quit.
Oh my lord.
Sorry.
Here.
This is anything that goes Sunday today.
There you go.
Anything that goes.
Bingo Sunday. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So I have in the spirit of our guests, the spooky family, my favorite spooky family, I have come up with 7 of America's most haunted roads.
Awesome.
Ooh.
That's interesting. In the state of Kentucky or United States?
The United States.
Okay.
It's mostly, there's a lot of the Northeast are on here, which we talked about when the last time we spoke with you guys, which was on your show, which would be a couple weeks from now, right?
It's like the craziest time travel conspiracy ever. Talked to us last week, but we won't hear about it this week or next week, and now this we're doing a different one.
Yeah. You remember when you come back in time to start that coffee shop, and I told you about that thing, and then
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember all that.
Yeah.
Even though it hasn't happened yet, it's right up here.
So it's in the past and it's in the future. So what makes the present?
I haven't got presents in a while. My birthday was last month. Didn't even get one.
That's terrible, Gertie.
We had an agreement.
I love it.
We said that we wouldn't buy anything for each other because we were trying to redo our bathroom.
She had an
If you
agreement.
remember.
She had an agreement.
And the spooky mansion needed a new bathroom. We had to work on
Because the last one was too spooky.
it.
Yeah. Marge and I had the same agreement. Guess what? Both of us broke it.
We did.
Apparently, I've been in this agreement for the last couple of years. I'm just starting to learn it, though.
Oh, okay. All right. Tell them about what awful kind of, Christmas gifts they get you and stuff like that, right?
It was horrible. She made me go to New York. It was bad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, yeah, that is bad. I've been in it.
Wow.
She made me fly on an airplane. It was
This
bad.
is
Well, I think I'm going up on you. We went on a bus.
Oh,
14 hours on a bus to go to New
I've
York.
I've done that before too, and I'm not a fan of it either. So I understand.
I got you both
No.
beat. Try driving downtown New York in a semi truck.
You win. Hands down.
Oh no.
Yeah, terrible.
No.
Terrible stuff. No. I want to hear more about this agreement, Gertie. You guys I want to hear more about the Christmas gifts he gets and things like that, because I feel like we have stumbled onto an episode of possibly Dr. Phil here.
Mm. He likes to say that he doesn't get anything for holidays, but he got one of the best Christmas gifts I think that anyone's gotten. He got tickets to fly to New York City. He got tickets to WrestleMania. He got tickets to the first New Japan Pro Wrestling show in America. He got tickets to NXT Takeover Wrestling promotion. He also got tickets to WrestleCon and got to take pictures with the Four Horsemen.
Wow.
And those all sound like pretty awesome gifts there.
If you
You
know
have to save yourself.
Which I tried to learn about wrestling for him to buy him all those things.
What do you have to save yourself?
Wow.
And then
Hey.
he's like, "I don't get anything from
Elliot, I think I'd back out now if I was you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I bought her some Stephen King books. I consider it even.
Yeah. Every year
I
I
don't
get
know. I think I'd stop now.
It's okay, guys. I already know what's getting ready to happen. I've lost this battle. So
Is this
Yep. The hole's just getting deeper and
Oh,
deeper.
yeah.
oh yeah. Well, I just want to
I
say
know, right?
it was nice doing my last podcast appearance with you guys. My
Let me-
last podcast appearance ever. So
Let me find a wooden spoon, so I can stir this a little bit more.
Yeah, okay, no. There's enough stirring going on right now.
it's okay, guys. We don't We don't stay mad at each other.
That's exactly
He
right.
stays mad at me.
There you go.
Sure. Again,
Well, you know, I just
victim mentality. Okay. Okay.
I just thought of something when you were talking about the most haunted roads. Up where I'm from, up in Devou Park, there is a place up there called Levitation Point that you put your car in neutral and it pulls you up a hill.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Now have you tried this?
Yes, we used to do it all the time. And it's something with the gravity there. Gravitational point, that's what it's called. Not levitation, gravitational point. And it's a street, it's just a street, and it goes uphill. And when you pull up, you put your car in neutral and take your foot off the brake and it pulls you up the hill. It's really
that's very-
crazy.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and next time we go up north, we're going to have to do it.
I'll have to take you up there to it.
Are you guys
It's
gonna be
real slow.
are you guys
I mean,
gonna be
it don't
close to that?
boom, you know,
Nah.
push you up the hill.
Nah, but this time if we get over there, we're gonna be having a camper behind us, so I don't know if they could push it up the hill or not. Either
Well,
that
that's-
or with that extra weight, we might be going so fast we can't stop when we get to the top.
No, that's true. Now the so there's a similar story actually around here on a set of railroad tracks that you can park your car on the railroad tracks, and a lot of people will put baby powder on the back of their car
And see the hand.
and see the handprints. Yes. It's supposedly it's not like an adult size hand. It's children's hands.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Huh.
they actually did a show on one of those. I actually saw an episode where they did a piece on that. And it was interesting. I would love to try it.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's not very far from where I am right now.
I can't remember where it was at.
You know where Bowman is?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the train tracks there.
really.
Mhm.
Which side?
The Bowman, across the Bowman Bridge, and it's the train
Yeah.
tracks.
So you just pull up there at the after you cross the river, because that's
Yeah,
kind of the hill there.
No, you're going to pull on to the train tracks and put your car in neutral.
Okay. Well, that's really not safe, but
No, not at all. Well, and the story goes that I guess
That's how on it in the first place. So
yeah, exactly. That's how I got on it the first time. That's the story. Is that there were some children that were there and they got ran over by a train or something.
I mean,
You have said everybody's
Shadow
name on
Man.
here today.
What's his name? What's his name again? I forgot it.
Snowman.
That's
Yeah.
it. I said Shadow Man.
Shadow Man.
Ooh, that's weird.
That's fun too.
You mean dark?
All right, so the 7 most haunted highways in America. Route 2A in Haynesville, Maine. In 1967, there were apparently 2 young girls about 10 years old who were struck by a vehicle and passed away along Route 2A. The story claims that one of the girls hasn't crossed over to the other side and still roams the road. Over the decades, and even in recent years, multiple drivers have mentioned seeing a young girl wandering around on the side of the road at night. Some drivers even reported pulling over to try to give the girl a ride, and a few claims that the girl got in the vehicle, but shortly after driving away, she disappeared right there beside the driver in the passenger seat with the car moving.
Well,
I mean, that would
it's
that would
stories
freak
like
me out.
these make me not want to pick up hitchhikers ever.
Oh,
no,
it's
Ever.
these stories make you not want to pick up hitchhiker.
it's not the mass murdering hitchhikers.
No.
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
not that-
yeah,
Pee-wee,
Yeah, well, you can always find your peewees.
the
it
guy
was the
that
worst night on this road I've ever been.
sounded like a garbage truck fell off the Empire State Building. Is that what she says? I think.
it made it like the girl, like a garbage fell off the
Right.
Empire.
I'm gonna have to look up exactly and write it all down and memorize it because that is a great point. That is hilarious.
So there is a common phenomenon reported on Clinton Road referred to as the Phantom Headlights. The story goes that there.
Road at?
Okay, Clinton Road is West Milford, New Jersey.
West Milford, New Jersey.
Yes.
Okay.
This is another one.
Yes, this is a different one.
Okay.
Yeah, this one is in New Jersey. The first one was in Maine. The story goes there is what appears to be a dark vehicle with its high beams on that tailgates the driver dangerously close, and then it just disappears into thin air. Another Clinton Road mystery is based on a New Jersey legend. The legend claims that the ghost of a boy who drowned in a creek below a bridge on Clinton Road still lurks under that bridge today. If you visit the bridge, they say to throw a coin in the water and the ghost boy will toss it back up at you.
Yeah.
Archer,
That kind of stuff interests me to no end, because I mean, if like legends are awesome and you know all that stuff, but when there's actual physical interaction, that's when I get, you know, that's pretty cool.
yeah, I mean it would be neat to throw a coin in and then have it come back at you. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know a fish with a good enough arm that can do that, and so you know,
they got small arms. They're like Tyrannosauruses.
Yes, that's true. Like
Can't
catfish, fish trap.
So Archer Avenue in Chicago, Illinois. When it comes to haunted places in Chicago, Archer Road almost always comes up. There's a stretch of road between St. James Sag Church and Resurrection Cemetery that is apparently home to wandering spirits. The Erie Road winds through overgrown trees, cemeteries, and bodies of water, with multiple ghostly sightings reported in the area over decades. One of the most notable sightings is that of Resurrection Mary. The story of Mary goes, one night she was out with her boyfriend when they got into an intense argument in the car on the way home from a party. She insisted her boyfriend pull over so she could get out and walk home. He let her out, and as she began to walk along the road, an unidentified vehicle struck her in a hit and run accident. The person who struck her was never found, and Mary was later buried in Resurrection Cemetery. There are numerous accounts of men picking up a female hitchhiker with blonde hair and blue eyes, dressed in party attire. She seems to be very quiet, but as they pass Resurrection Cemetery, she asks to be let out and disappears into the cemetery.
I have actually heard that story multiple times on those haunted places shows and that I watch. Resurrection Mary, very popular story.
Oh, yes.
Do you know how creepy that would be, though? I mean, to have somebody in your car and then just look over and they're gone. Yeah, I mean, like, how do you come back from that? You know what I'm saying? Like
well, you'd have to play it off to you just been tired or something, right? I mean,
well, you know,
hallucinations
for a long time. 75 that runs between, it runs through central Kentucky. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
For a long time, there was a story, and this is probably made up. In fact, I'm almost 100% sure, but it's in the same vein of somebody driving down the road. They see a hitchhiker, they pick him up. You know, it's usually a guy. He gets in the car. He's intensely quiet. He never says anything. He doesn't do anything. And, after a couple miles, the driver's trying to talk to him, like, hey, buddy, where are you going? What's going on? And like, he never says anything. He's just staring off into space. And then about a couple miles down the road, he'll turn to him and he'll say, his lips are on the trumpet, and then he disappears. And like, I've heard that story 100 times from people around here. And I'm thinking it's probably somebody saying, biblical, religious related. His lips are on the trumpet. He's ready. God's ready to send Jesus back. All that stuff. But in the same vein, imagine how just incredibly insane and scary that is. If you're the driver of that vehicle, and then something like that happens.
Oh, definitely.
Like, I don't think I would be telling that story because I don't think I would be able to logically formulate thoughts if that happened to me. If that makes sense.
It would be very tough. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, you would have to be. I mean, you would really have to think about it to come to that conclusion because I mean, you would to the religious part of it, because having that just said randomly to you, I know that I probably wouldn't put two and two together, not immediately anyway.
Right, exactly, and that's why I said it's probably something someone's made up, because I've heard a lot of it like through people that I've went to church with, people, you know what I'm saying, like people that have heard this story, and they wholeheartedly believe it, and I believed it for a long time until I started realizing that these kinds of stories, especially like that and Resurrection Mary, every state has that story. You know what I mean? Like it's never the same name, but every state has a story where there's a phantom hitchhiker. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody who you stop, you pick up, and then they disappear before you reach your destination. You know what? Maybe it's a warning. I read, so we do a lot of stuff about the Mothman. You know, the Mothman's one of my favorite kids and one of my favorite stories. And there was I don't think it was John Keel, it might have been Gray Barker, but one of the people who wrote books about it said that there were phantom hitchhikers there where they would pick them up and they would say, you know, tragedy approaches or tragedy is coming or, you know, whatever, and then disappear. So, you know, they've got that in Fukushima in Japan, you know, after the whole nuclear meltdown and tsunami and all that, cab drivers would pick up people and take them, you know, they were told to take them somewhere, and when they reached the destination, they were not in the cab anymore. And I mean, it got so bad there that they actually were doing studies on that, you know, at the collegiate level. And cab drivers quit actually going to those places, not because they were scared, but because they were losing money on their fares. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff. To me, that is creepier than going into a building and seeing a ghost. Because, I mean, other than you seeing it, there's no physical evidence. But to have somebody open your door, get in your car, be in your presence, sit with you as you drive them, and then disappear, it's creepy.
Oh yeah, the physical interaction.
When you got off the expressway up north where I lived, the road down to my town went through a park, and it was kind of a hill, went down to the river, and it went through the woods and that, and it was called Sleepy Hollow. So can you imagine the stories that I heard? I mean, and you don't know if they're made up or not, but mainly it's a lady in a blue dress. But yeah, that road up northern Kentucky is known as the haunted road to go down, Sleepy Hollow. Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, I'm not discrediting any stories like that. I mean, it's like I always tell people,
I'm sure they see something.
Yeah, there's a grain of truth to everything. Like nobody just randomly starts these stories and they spread around the world. You know what I'm saying? Like,
getting tea.
You are you spiking it?
No, I don't spike my tea.
Okay.
I spike my Coke.
All right. So speaking of speaking of a Sleepy Hollow top sounding name, this next one is Mount Misery Road.
Gertie, this one's you.
Where's that?
I just read stuff about, I mean, like very, very minimal things about it, but it has some stuff to do with the Mothman mythos and John Keel and what happened to him after Point Pleasant. If you may want to look that up at some point, but I don't really know what all to speak on it, but
you don't want to share a little bit?
He had some odd happenings happen after that, after Point Pleasant, and it was in Mount Misery.
Oh, really?
Is it
Mount Misery? Would you buy a house in Mount Misery?
No.
So Mount Misery Road comes out of Melville, Long Island. Mount Misery Road and Sweet Hollow Road run basically parallel to each other and are about 40 miles outside of Manhattan. Countless horror stories and talk of spirits have come from those who travel along these roads, and there is a common theme often related to areas that locals consider cursed or off limits. One notable legend is that of a mental asylum built sometime in the 1700s near Mount Misery Road. A disturbed mental patient living there committed arson on the asylum and it burned to the ground, resulting in many lives lost.
Well, again, I wouldn't live in Mount Misery. So, nor would I go visit there.
So this next one, everyone probably does know about Sunshine Skyway Bridge. Does that ring a bell to anyone?
Where is it?
Tampa Bay, Florida.
Nope.
I've actually crossed over this bridge. Well, the new one, not the old one.
Awesome. Let's hear about it. I've never heard of it.
So this 5.5 mile long bridge connects the city of St. Petersburg to Manatee County and acts as a line that separates Tampa Bay and the Gulf of Mexico. The current standing bridge is not the one that was there 40 years ago. The previous Sunshine Skyway Bridge was struck by a cargo ship in 1980. The impact caused a section of the bridge to collapse during into the water below, taking with it a Greyhound bus and several cars. 35 people passed away as a result of the incident.
Wow.
Sightings of ghosts wandering the old sections of bridge, now used as fishing piers, have been reported, with some people even claiming that they hear what sounds like a bus coming toward them, followed by just a gust of wind and the smell of gasoline. The recurring story talks about late night motorists who have spotted what appears to be a woman standing alone on the bridge around midnight. Some motorists have claimed to have even picked her up and given her a ride, and expressed that she became extremely nervous in the car, wanting to get to the end of the bridge. All claims said that she vanished from the vehicles before the motorists could reach the other side of the bridge.
Well,
now, if you've not looked up the history,
I've never heard that.
Yeah, if you've not looked up the history of the Sunshine Skyway Bridge, you need to YouTube it, check it out. There's a small documentary on it. It's a tragic accident is basically what it boils down to. They had essentially what it was a very strong and severe thunderstorm at the time, and a very experienced pilot in the boat or in the cargo ship went off course, couldn't control the ship, and it hit the bridge, and several motorists were killed. It's a very sad accident, but check it out.
It's sad.
So Route 44 in Rehoboth, Massachusetts. On Route 44, there have been numerous accounts of motorists spotting a bearded hitchhiker with dark eyes. Claims say the bearded hitchhiker appears to be pretty roughed up, as if he'd been in a car accident of some sort. The most terrifying part is that the motorists who've spotted him don't claim to have seen him on the side of the road. Rather, he appeared suddenly in their empty back seats. He said
that's it. I'm out. I'm done. Never mind. No, that's wrong.
So just think about it. You don't actually have to stop and pick this guy up. You're just driving down the road and he appears in your back seat.
That's like, have you seen the thing that people are doing that have backup cameras on their vehicle, and they're taping a picture of Reagan from The Exorcist over top of the backup camera?
No.
So when they put it in reverse, that face pops up.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
I'm doing that now.
That's hilarious.
But I mean, just driving along and like in between here and Pikeville, and all of a sudden, a homeless hippie shows up in my back seat. I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm out, dude.
Absolutely.
I'm abandoning that car beside the road. Have it. Well, the rest of
That's right.
So he's
movie Urban Legends, you know.
Yeah.
Is it the first one with, you know, how it starts, then she's driving in her car? Do you remember, Elliot? Like, you know about she's driving her car, and then she's the guy at the gas station. I think it's Brad Dourif, remember? He's trying to get her to stop.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Oh, he's trying to lure me into the station. He's gonna do something to me. He's gonna, you know." And what he was trying to, you know,
warn her somebody in her back,
telling her that there's somebody.
Oh
in the back.
yeah.
Remember
that.
And then she drives off, and you know.
Wow, Grundy is a movie fan. She's like Mike. When Mike
Grundy
talks about that stuff, and I just go, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
They named the actors even. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Well, Brad Dourif's really famous. That's Chucky. That's Worm. What is he? Worm Tongue. Worm Tongue, Lord of the Rings.
Now listen, he's the sheriff in Halloween.
New Halloween movies. You know, yeah.
No, never
Marge,
seen any of them.
Marge,
Never seen any of them.
did you call her Grundy?
It's fun.
Yeah, what is
Gertie.
it?
Gertie.
Gertie, I was close.
Grundy's fine too.
From now on, it's Grundy. I'm gonna have to redo all the intros and everything for the show.
I'm gonna have to start writing the names now. I'm sorry.
Well, I had
No
to
disrespect.
Elliot. I had to
No
go.
disrespect.
Elliot,
Trust
do
me.
you remember?
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Hey, listen, it's hard, especially when you especially in our case, well, your all's case too, I'm sure. When you're family and you're trying to have a conversation and you're trying to remember all these different names, and
I know, right?
You know,
I'm an only child, so it's like I'm not used to big family or anything.
like PT will tell you, there were times on the other show where I would just say my own names, like out of the blue. Like I'd be good with everybody else. I never would say their other people's names, but mine, I'd blow it every time. Every time.
Well, no disrespect. Sorry about that. Woo.
So with us,
okay.
with us today is the Spooky Family with Elliot and Grundy, and they are here to advertise their new show, The Spooky Family.
We're missing Bugle, but
Bugle. we got Elliot, Grundy, and Bugle.
Yep.
Oh my God, that's so funny. And Shadow Man.
And Shadow Man.
That's our parallel dimension names. That's
It's the multiverse.
Yeah.
We're phasing in and out just slightly.
We're professionals. That's right.
In every sense of the word.
So
right.
Kelly Road in Ohioville, Pennsylvania, on a specific 1 mile stretch of Kelly Road, is home to peculiar sightings and occurrences. Kelly Road is lined with thick, dark foliage. This section of road appears to turn both wild and domesticated animals violent with multiple cases being reported of attacks on people. On top of that, ghostly white silhouettes have been frequently reported on this stretch of road. The bizarre activity taking place on this section of road hasn't been scientifically explained. Current theory suggests activity from a local cult in the area. The portions of supposedly cursed land alongside the road. See, I don't deal with cults very well. That kind of creeps me out.
I get that. And you know what the crazy part about that is, I don't have to explain where we live at. We live in a weird, hilly Appalachian area, and the roads in this area are all curvy, and you don't really know what's around that next curve. You know what I'm saying? So
oh yeah,
I could imagine everything we're talking about just going around a curve and seeing a group of cultists. You never know. I mean,
just sitting there burning some tires in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
Actually, I've seen that before.
Well, there you go. See?
Well, up here, Halloween,
Yeah.
You're not going to get out of the town. They light, tires on fire on the bridge.
Yep, it's happened numerous times.
Yeah.
We live in a little Afghanistan here.
Just gotta get our own little warlords and get them together.
Yep. Well, that's the 7 most haunted roads in America.
Did you notice the majority were in the eastern part of the United States?
Yeah, well,
in the Florida.
Yeah, there was one in Florida and one in Chicago, and the rest were in the Northeast. That's what it says. It seems like the Northeast is way more active paranormally than the rest of the world.
And I wonder, especially with there's a couple reasons. The Appalachian Mountains are there. Who knows what's in the Appalachian Mountains? You know what I mean? Honestly,
right.
I've been here my whole life, and I find new stuff all the time. And then you have all the battles of the original Revolutionary War, and all that stuff. Civil War was on the East Coast. Just all kinds of death and destruction, and who knows, man? It's crazy.
I'm a daughter of the Revolutionary War.
Really?
Member. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Well,
talking about seeing weird things around here. Mm-hmm. Like I've said multiple times, I grew up north, so I just moved down here in the last couple of years. out our front door, we were sitting there watching TV. It's only been about a month ago. There stands this dog. I thought it was a great day. Now we live up in a holler by ourselves, so there's nobody up here. So we see all kinds of wildlife. Mike, I said, whose dog is that? And I said, oh my gosh, it looks like a wolf. And Mike got up and he first thought it looked like a coyote, but then when it moved, it was huge. Well, supposedly there are no wolves down here. But whatever this was not a domestic dog. It had a long snout like a coyote, but it was dark. And it had huge ears and a huge tail.
Whoa.
This thing probably weighed 200 pounds.
So like a dire.
Yeah, and Sam, he chases everything out of here. This is his ranch. He doesn't like other animals. Well, he takes off the porch after it, and as he's running down towards it, I see the size difference. Sam's probably 70 pounds, something like 65, 70 pounds. He's a big dog. This thing was twice his size or better. It was huge. And then I started hollering for him to come back. He didn't listen. And the other one just kind of looked over its shoulder and just moseyed on up the hill.
So we got a really good look at it. It wasn't just a flash, but this was the biggest animal. And I hunt, but this is the biggest animal that I've ever seen. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, and Marge looked up what we thought it might be on the internet, and it come back as a red wolf.
Wow.
And they were, I guess they were indigenous to this area at one time, but they're not here anymore. They're extinct or whatever. But possibility. There's a lot of empty land here. It's all hillside. No one builds on it.
We live way out in a rural area. We're not anywhere near town or anything, so we see all kinds of little critters. But that one was unique.
Yes.
And I think that's crazy that you all live out in a rural area like that, because of the wilderness and the forest and the hills and everything like that. No, thank you.
I love it.
Listen, I've lived in a town all my life, and this is the most peaceful place ever.
Yeah, I'm sure you say that until that red wolf comes in your window, and
I'll shoot that wolf
until you wake up one night. Bigfoot.
I'll shoot it. I don't want it up here. I'll kill a coyote. I don't care. I don't want them up here. I have animals.
Hey, coyotes are a problem. Coyotes are getting worse and worse.
Coyotes are definitely an issue around here.
Yeah. Now that story, PT, and the story that Marge and Snowman just told brings me to a road that you didn't mention, but that I guess it's not haunted technically, so it wouldn't be included. But up in Wisconsin, you have Bray Road, and the Beast of Bray Road.
Yes, I've heard that.
Yeah, and that's supposed to be like a wolfman type cryptid type, skinwalker type animal,
right?
And so I see there's just all of these places, and you're gonna get to experience a lot of this, and that's why I'm looking so forward to your all's podcast. Just the stories that you can bring back from the road.
Oh yeah.
Just all the different people that you're going to experience, and meet, and their stories and everything that you get to share with us. That's why, if you're not watching the Paranormal Trucker, you need to be listening to and watching the Paranormal Trucker.
That's right.
You all are going to have the best stories, and it makes me so happy to know that you're going to get to continue on telling these stories to everybody.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Pretty sweet little plug there. That's pretty awesome.
But it's on your don't really help, right?
I like it.
That was a good segue. That was good.
No, I'm kind of, if you can see, I'm kind of pumped up now.
Yeah, but listen, you need to be pumped up. You need to be pumped up. You need to those stories are the best stories. I knew a guy a long time ago. He's passed away now, but he used to drive a truck out west. And he would tell us stories about, getting these government contracts and not being allowed to ask what was in the truck, you know what I'm saying? And having to do all that stuff, and driving through the desert, seeing just weird, strange things going on in the desert. And like, I used to love those stories. I used to think those stories were just fantastic. And now knowing that which I know you're not really out west right now and doing all that stuff, but just the fact that you're driving these roads, driving these highways, it gets me pumped, man. Like I'm gonna live vicariously through you. So.
Well, and I'm hoping it goes as well as what we're hoping. I mean, there are some interesting characters on the road, and I've heard those stories before. I've talked to a couple drivers that'll tell the tales that they go into the desert and just turn off onto a dirt, sandy desert road and drive for a few miles, and they're met out there with a pickup truck, and the guy tells them not to move, don't get out of the cab, and their truck just starts slowly going underground. And then you can feel the truck behind them, or the truck behind, the back of the truck, you can feel it moving when they're unloading. And then it raises him back up and he takes out, and he drives off, and there's nothing on the landscape that you can see.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, where I worked before, we would get 5-6 trucks a week coming in there, and there was one driver, and he had our run there for many years, and I got to talk to him one night, and I asked him about some of the strange things that he might have seen. He goes, he's a man, the strangest. Before I started working at the company he's working at now, he was an independent contractor, and he had a government contract like that, and he said he was out. I forgot which state it was. They drove out through the middle of this cornfield for miles. And once you got out the road, there was just a metal building standing out in the middle of this cornfield. He went in, the truck lowered the truck down, they unloaded him. Some soldiers come out, signed his paperwork, they raised him back up. He went out the other end. And then he also said he was in the middle of New York City, did the exact same thing. Went down an alley, pulled in the garage, truck lowered, they unloaded him. Soldiers come out, signed his paperwork, they raised him back up, and he went out the other side of the building.
Now, see, that's interesting. Yeah, that's what you're talking about. That is actually, I've heard that on several different times from several different drivers, that they'll actually go into like a parking garage type structure in New York and be lowered underground.
Yeah, it's hard to tell them what they've got. Which if you'll do some research, they're I guess in the midst of digging water tunnels to bring water down from the north to the city, and those tunnels are 800 feet deep. It's hard to tell them what they have anyway. And then you got your subways are probably 30 or 40 feet deep, and then they may have some even deeper. I don't know.
Well, you think about all the like abandoned subway tunnels.
Oh,
What's in them?
yeah.
What are they using them for?
Ghostbusters too.
Ghostbusters too. That's where I was going.
Well, we went to when I went to New York. I chaperoned a school trip, and they took us to Ground Zero. Well, everything was scooped out, and there was just a big hole in the ground. They hadn't started building anything back yet. But the subway tunnels, you could see, came out, and they were a good 60 feet or whatever below ground level.
Mm-hmm.
So they're digging, on that city. If they've got to have some kind of infrastructure or something, that's a perfect place to hide it, because they, while they're digging a tunnel, they can dig a big old room to whatever they need to do, and nobody's going to notice the extra dirt or rock that's out there.
Yeah, the whole southern end of that city is nothing but landfill, that they brought in to extend the city. So, what could they have built while they did that?
Exactly. That, and they which I watched a show on the World Trade Center, and that what is it? I think they call it Battery Park, which is like on the tip of Manhattan.
Yeah.
All that dirt they excavated out of there, they filled that in and extended the island out. Well, who's to say that they're still not working at it?
Right.
While they're hauling out, they could do all kinds of stuff.
Well, and it would be hidden in plain sight, and
Exactly.
that's sometimes the best place to hide something nefarious or otherwise, is in plain sight.
The Denver airport.
Exactly.
Yep.
Why
Exactly.
do you need that? Why do you need those big, huge tunnel systems underneath the Denver airport? I know they say it's to get storage from one place to another, but come on.
Right.
Why don't you build an airport and then cover it up and then build another airport on top of it?
Exactly.
But you know, the one thing that that surprises me about, I mean, yes, you're hiding something in plain sight. You're putting it in the middle of a big city, and you're probably not going to notice stuff going in and out. But just like the Denver airport, New York City, or any of the major cities, why would you stick it in a prime target for a nuclear bomb if one of our enemies were out to get us?
Well, again, it just depends on how far underground it is.
Yeah, well, you know,
It's really no secret if you watch anything about nuclear weapons. Your maximum ability of that weapon is to detonate it a few hundred feet off the ground, not ground level.
Of course, because you're getting the maximum, expansion of that explosion. And if they hit it right on the ground, it's not going to go down; it's going to go up. So if it
Right.
explodes in the air, whatever's right below it gets destroyed as well. But what I'm saying is, now you've got radiation and all kinds of destruction around. You're probably not going to be able to get your stuff in and out unless you have a tunnel system to get it out. Yeah, and that may be what that is. That may just be a drop-off point and it goes somewhere else.
Could be.
Well,
You know?
In the decommissioned nuclear silos in the Midwest, that people are like buying into these like big, huge, high-priced underground.
The condo survival shelters. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and they've got tunnel systems that connect those.
Mm-hmm.
Like that way they can travel back and forth. And and that those tunnel systems have to be new. I mean, nobody's going to link, that stuff.
Right. Right. And well, an Air Force base that has those nuclear missiles or whatever they're not all in one little pile. They're scattered out for, miles apart. Just in case one gets taken out, it's not going to take all of them out. And that makes a lot of sense. Why not have big tunnels for these places?
Yeah.
Well, and I know the rumor for the Denver airport is that there are miles and miles of tunnels that are linking, possibly even linking the airport.
Area 51.
Well, linking them to like Cheyenne Mountain and the Air Force Base that's close by. I can't remember the name of it.
Dulce or Dulce.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah,
and even possibly to Area 51.
Right.
Well, and you got to look. Now they've actually got the technology for these maglev trains. Those things 300-400 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Right.
That's if you can dig a tunnel, nobody's gonna know it. They, no pollution.
Oh, that'd be a good way to hide it.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's supposed to be, isn't there like the second White House is underneath there? Where if something happens, they take the president to and he can run everything from there. I wanted to check on that.
Cheyenne Mountain there you're talking about?
Gertie, do you remember what the name of the hotel was?
Greenbrier.
Oh, yeah.
The Greenbrier.
Yeah.
The Greenbrier. Was like it for a long time.
It was
had a whole city
until like
underneath it.
modern, super modern times. It was, I guess, the contingency plan if something was to happen to Washington D.C.
Huh?
Yeah,
They
and
could
that's
go
only
there.
one.
Yeah, you could fit all of Congress and their family underneath there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's
pretty
crazy to think.
Very
The
wild.
rest of us have to find a cave.
Hey,
so here's an honest question.
The thing is, we live in Kentucky, and there's plenty of those.
Well, here's an honest question, and I've been asked this question. I've even thought about this quite a bit. End of the world scenario. Let's assume there's a nuclear attack, nuclear winter, or a zombie apocalypse, or an asteroid hits, or some kind of extinction level event, whether it's man-made or natural. Would you want to survive the initial event and struggle and eke your way through surviving, or would you rather be took out with bombs?
I'd rather be taken out.
That's the same conclusion I've come to, after, especially after watching The Walking Dead. There's no way I could do that.
I don't know. I think
No
I
way
could.
do that.
I think I
Not
could. I
me.
tried.
No way.
No,
Well-
there's no way I could.
If it makes you feel any better, after an event like that, you know, there's certain things that you have to do at all these nuclear power plants to keep them running. And after 2 weeks, if you've not got anybody doing those things, you ain't gonna have to worry about it much longer anyway.
Well, that's true.
Well, all right.
If it makes you feel better.
I don't know if that makes me feel better or not. That might be
No, it
worse.
doesn't mean at all.
Well,
Not
I
at
mean,
all.
you have to look at. I mean, it's not just power plant. It's your water plant.
Yeah.
You know, power grid, all that stuff. You know, you could probably make it for a little while, but yeah, your creature comforts will be gone. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
I can't do that. Nope. Just give me a heads up. Let me get my lawn chair out so I can watch it happen. That's all I ask.
Going,
I would rather have a zombie apocalypse though than a Mad Max type apocalypse.
Okay.
yeah,
I'm
Oh,
too
Lord.
I'm too pretty to live through a Mad Max type apocalypse.
I can't
That would be
outrun.
horrible.
I
Marge
can't.
has
Out,
got the car for it.
I can't outrun the zombies. So,
I don't want to deal with zombies.
and I'm a pretty decent driver, so I think I could make it in a Mad Max world.
I don't know. Zombies after a while, you know, they're gonna go away. I mean,
Yeah. Yep.
I
you
don't-
can-
Maybe.
they will.
I don't know. Walking Dead's been going for 12
Yeah, they're
seasons now.
dead. Yeah, eventually they're just gonna fall apart
yeah, exactly.
because they're dead. You know.
Yeah, but they're walking. All right, Snowman, what you got for us?
Well, I got a little ghost story, and I was alive, but I'm not old enough to remember it. I'm recalling what my mother had told me. Back in the '60s, my dad went to work for GM up in Detroit, and you know, he was in the military. After he got out, he went back to GM, and we lived in a little house just on the outskirts of Detroit. And so my dad's mom came up to visit, and she was, I guess, going to watch me while they went to work, whatever. And she came one evening, and the way the house was made or whatever, they had an extra bedroom set up in the basement. And she came up the next morning, and they said, "Well, how'd you sleep?" And she said, "I'm packing up and leaving here." She says, "I'll not spend another night in this house." And they said, "Why? What happened?" She said, "The rocking chair over in the corner rocked all night long." And so that kind of freaked her out. She left. Well, I think it was
That freaked me out.
a few months later, my mom's mother and her sister came up, and they were sitting there, and said they were sitting there one day, and this was during the daytime, and they heard a big loud crash and bang out of the bedroom. And when they ran back there to the bedroom to see what was going on, they couldn't open the door. And they finally pushed the door open, and it was a full-size bed, had flipped completely upside down, and the mattress and box springs were laying up against the door.
Oh,
And they
Wow.
couldn't explain it. Needless to say, they left too.
well,
And,
yeah.
After my mom and dad moved out of the house, they had found out that that was a site of a murder suicide just not too many months before they moved in.
Oh wow.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
but
That would scare me.
that was my little ghost story. Like I said, I don't remember it. I was too little to remember
That's a
that.
pretty powerful poltergeist.
Well,
Usually
that's
they
what-
just move things real little, but to flip a mattress, wow.
It
Well,
wasn't
well-
a place called Amityville, was it?
Right.
I had no idea.
Well, and that's what we were kind of talking about is with depending on how bad the situation was, the gruesomeness or the emotions or whatever, would almost leave an imprint on the fabric of what we perceive as reality.
And I honestly believe that.
Yeah. There's just I've heard too many stories like that, you know, and I think that just the energy that is released during that, it can record itself on the energy of the area or surroundings, whatever it's in, and it just plays and plays and plays in a loop, or you know, it can manifest itself into something, you know, a little more than just an image.
Which is why I'm afraid to buy anything at a yard sale.
Really?
Well, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Well, they
Yeah,
stick with items, they say.
Yeah, because you don't know what kind of bad juju went down with the little old ashtray that you bought for a nickel, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
How many times has that ashtray been thrown at somebody?
Exactly. You might have brained somebody, and there you go.
Well, I used to be a member of a volunteer fire department, and there was a fire engine that was still relatively new that we had in our station, and there were several members that always saw this this young lady in our station, just kind of out of the corner of your eye, and she was dressed in white, almost like a wedding gown, with black curly hair. And we've seen that forever, you know, and nobody, you know, finally one day I asked the chief, I said, you know, have you ever seen anything? He said, yeah, I've seen stuff. I said, what, you know, can you, I kind of described what I saw. And he said, well, when this truck was brand new, one of the first runs that he ever went on was a car accident. And the lady that was there, it sounded that you described what she looked like. So it makes you wonder if she attached herself. Obviously, she may have attached herself to that truck.
Possible.
See, stuff like that. You just never know. You know what I mean?
Right.
You just know.
See,
We're going to talk about this further as the podcast goes on, but my ex-husband committed suicide, and he attached himself to me, and I mean for years. Terrible, not mean things, but just drove me nuts. And we'll talk about that later. But I finally went to a psychic, and we talked about this last week, and she walked him toward the light. And you have to be open-minded to think about it. But right after that, everything quit. But
Oh, wow.
She said that he was still here and hanging on and everything because of the way he left. He didn't understand that he had killed himself, and it was just too painful, so he didn't know how to cross over. But anyway, it's all taken care of now. But so I totally believe in that. And there's certain items that I have that he is thrown in the floor and stuff that belong to him that I know he has attached himself to.
Yeah, I mean, and that's
Now that I've blown everybody's mind.
that's very. And it's
Everybody thinks I'm nuts.
No, it's
No.
it's incredibly sad, and I'm sorry for your loss.
It
I
is
really
sad.
am. And
It's terribly sad. And it's sad that he couldn't cross over. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That he just kind of hovered for a while. Because I really honestly believe he did.
and that just kind of goes to show you what you never know what kind of demons people are wrestling with.
Nope.
Often, and
He never once said, I wish I was dead, or I'm gonna kill myself. Never once. So if you know anybody that's struggling with mental illness or depression, reach out, because you just never know.
exactly.
Yeah.
And the faces of depression are often Smiles. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You look at Robin Williams.
Yes.
You look at Chester Bennington.
Yes.
You look at Chris Cornell.
Chris Cornell.
You look at Chris Farley.
Chris
And
Farley, yeah.
Oh gosh, and
Yeah.
I'm
Lots
blanking.
of
What's the guy's Kurt Cobain? Kurt Cobain.
Kurt Cobain, yeah. Well,
know.
he was married to Courtney, so
Yes. Well,
that already was a death wish.
I'll say it. Oh,
Terrible.
snap.
That's a death wish. That's terrible.
so
Oh my
Marge,
God.
do you have any more ghost stories for us this week?
Who?
You Marge.
Oh, me. Sorry.
Do you have any more
Let's
ghost stories?
see. I know I have. Well, you know what? I'll just that'll segue me into. I'll just tell you one about Kevin.
Okay.
His ex-girlfriend had bought him this keychain that was a what the heck do you call them? You put them on your boot, a spur, because he liked cowboy things. Anyway, he lost it. And he was all tore up about it. So for Christmas that year, I found one at the boot store just like it, and I bought it for him. Well, he was tickled pink. It was one of his favorite things. Well, the night after he committed suicide, I went out in his truck because his truck was at the house. I went out in his truck to see if he left his car keys for the truck or anything. And there were no keys or anything in there, but that what do I call stirrup?
Spur.
Spur.
Yes, the boot stirrup. It was off his keychain, which he never took it off. And it was laying dead center in the middle of his driver's seat. And he didn't drive that truck when he committed suicide. He drove his car. He went over to some property we owned. So, but he took all his keys and everything, but somehow the police got his keys out, but somehow that came back. It was laying right there for me to find. Little things like that he never took that off his keychain ever. And he carried it around for years with its keys.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's just one. But that just shows you that people they attach to items like furniture and everything. I believe that.
Yeah, I believe that 100% as well.
You remember the little house I rented over at Green Meadows? You lived there for a little while with me, and I mean, it was just a small farmhouse, and you would come in the front door and go through the living room, and the two bedrooms were off to the right. Well, to go to the bedrooms was a little hallway, and I really wouldn't even call it a hallway. It was like a 5x5 box that you could just go into those two rooms or the bathroom, or up a set of stairs to the attic. And I'd just be sitting there in the living room watching TV, and I would see shadows moving from the dining room into that hallway. And the Diesel, the lab, he would be sitting there, and at first that's what I thought. Well, that's just Diesel moving around over there or something like that. And I'd look and Diesel would be asleep by my feet. And but numerous times I have seen him sitting in the living room just staring into that hallway. And
and dogs can pick those up.
And it was
they pick that energy up.
And
there
small
was nothing ever mean or anything like that. And I don't know, for some reason I just always had a feeling it was a child. It wasn't, an adult or anything. It was a child, because you could hear stuff kind of moving on the stairs every now and then, but I never really saw anything other than just shadows. And it was fast enough, and it's like I say, I was watching TV, and it was just out the corner of your eye, and it was enough to make you look. And
that's enough for me.
Yeah. But like I said, Diesel would sit there and just stare into that hallway for hours sometimes.
Oh, hang on one second. Got a guest.
Uh-oh.
Hello.
Good, I need tea. I'll be back.
Well, let me ask you all a question real quick. We got to talk about movies earlier. Which Halloween movie do you like the best? The original John Carpenter or the Rob Zombie?
Oh, John Carpenter.
John Carpenter.
Do you? See, I like the Rob Zombie version better, because it kind of went back into psyche of Michael Myers when he was a
Now-
child. You know, I like that.
I liked it. Don't get me wrong. And we've met Tyler Maine. You know, we've done all that stuff. But the thing that killed me about Rob Zombie's Halloween was part 2. That part 2 was just, it destroyed it for me.
I said, no, I've never seen part 2, and I'm not a big slasher movie.
Right.
That's not. I mean, I like something that makes you think. It's a little more psychological.
Right.
That's the kind of scary movies I like.
Yeah, me too. I like
Yeah.
thrillers, like psychological thrillers. I like lots of stuff about the Catholic Church because I'm Catholic.
Mhm.
What is
I
the
love
name of
those
that
kinds.
movie, Mary Beth? It's
Uh-oh.
not about the cat. It has Matthew McConaughey.
You said my real name.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my gosh.
It's all right.
It's
Sorry.
trendy.
This
Sorry,
this
It's not Grundy.
this
Oh,
this has
no.
gone tits up.
Throw it downhill.
This has gone tits up. We have called
what happens
everybody
when you
everybody's
lose.
name.
See what happens when
So
you-
we have a special guest. For 6 months now, I have been trying to get my sister to write down a spooky story or a ghost story that she's experienced in our old house.
Where's she at? I'm trying to see her.
I'm gonna have to get up and let her, but I'm going to let her in here, and she goes by the name Candy Cane.
Candy cane.
Hey, I love Joyride. Just throwing that out there.
Oh. Oh, rest in peace, Paul Walker.
Hey y'all.
Hey, Kane.
Hey. What's up, guys?
Candy cane.
So glad you're a real person, because I really thought what was going to happen was a PT was going to come back
He
in with
just
a wig.
sat back down with like a wig on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Candy Cane, Snowman, Large Marge, Elliot, and Gertie.
Okay.
Or Grundy.
Well, I draw the line at him making us eat dog biscuits.
Yeah.
That ain't happening.
No.
So, all right. So one of the stories about that house that we grew up in. So like all the time you would hear, all right, so I lived in like the bedroom that was like closest whenever you walked up the steps. It was like the first door on the left. So like every time, like I would be just laying in my bed and you could like hear on there were 16 steps and you could literally listen to it and count how many steps that was being taken. And a lot of times my door handle would just like jiggle, but there have been so many times it would just like open up and I'd be so
Ooh.
scared.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I would think like, okay, but you know, I was just a little kid at the time. Like I didn't know what was going on. I was like so scared. Mom and dad thought I was just crazy. Like, you know, didn't even like begin
But
to
see, they
listen to
go
me.
toward kids because of the energy level.
Yeah,
So
well,
kids, when we're kids, we hear stuff all the time.
yeah, that's true. And it's like I had like a canopy over my bed and had like a crap ton of stuffed animals on it. And like one night I went to my friend's house and my other brother was staying there, like just sleeping in my bed. And he said it was like something just punched the bottom of my like tarp thing that had all my animals,
Yes.
and they all just come falling down over him. That room was like so scary because like my TV
Huh.
would turn off all the time and like
And it was a brand new house.
Yeah, it was brand new. Like they just built on whenever I was born. So
Huh. It wasn't an old house.
no.
But what happened on the land before that house was built?
Well, that's true.
Well.
True. I'm not exactly sure.
Well, the house was built by my grandmother, and there was nothing on it. It was built in 1976. Matter of fact, they had just moved in it, and in 77 in April they had the flood, and it went to the attic. The water did,
Oh wow.
and
Wow.
yeah, so it got kind of gutted and redone. But it was the house was new. It was just a vacant lot,
Huh.
and nothing ever happened. We just had added on, and that's when all that stuff. I don't know if we stirred somebody up or whatever,
They say that.
but
They
it's
say that
it's
does
fine.
stir it up.
Well, I was going to ask. Oh shit! What was your name, Candy?
Andy Kane.
Hey,
Andy Kane. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you went to U-Pike up there, and you stayed in Wickham.
Oh my gosh.
Now I've heard stories that place was haunted. Do you have any stories from there?
Yes, actually, this was the most scared that I've ever been. So it was around Halloween, and my roommate, I called her BS, and she had actually just been in a car wreck recently. So I let her have the bottom bunk, and I stayed on the top. Well, it was real late one night, and she was sitting on the bottom bunk, and I was over at my desk. I had an anatomy exam the next morning. So I was like just going through my flashcards. She was just eating cereal, quizzing me, like, how good students do. And then I like turn around because we had already went through like a couple chapters. She was like, okay, buddy, let's go to the next section. So I go and get like my other cards. And whenever I turn around, like in between us, and there's not even maybe 3 foot of space, we hear just this deepest, like most evil, like growl. And like, I was scared, but I was like, I don't want to seem crazy because I thought that, maybe I'm just hearing things. Nope. So I like just turned around, like looked at her, and she goes, buddy, I heard that too. And I was like, ah.
oh no.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know, just
That
the
was
energy.
scary.
It just made things worse, honestly.
Maybe she was just having mimic issues, and she was like, "Oh no, it's a ghost."
See, now I wish that was it, but like it was just like it just sounded too, I don't know.
I got you.
So deep, very scary.
Ooh.
I know. She was like, "Will you sleep with me until I fall asleep?" And I was like, no, like they're twin size beds. Like, how we're both big girls. Like, how are we gonna be on there?
So, a chance to go out and do the whole Octavia Hatcher experience.
I did go out there and check it out and like see the statue and kind of chilled out on the graveyard and stuff, but I never actually had any like experience there.
Yeah, I know a lot of U-Pike students over the years, and that seems to be the same. Like they know the legend, but nothing ever really happens. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. When I was little, that was always the big thing. The statue would move.
Really?
And I can't remember the whole story when it was supposed to move or whatever, but that was the big urban legend that the statue would actually move.
Those are scary.
That's close by. We can go over there one night.
I can't believe more Hatfield McCoy stories. Like you would think there would be more of those in the area. True or not, just building off of that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? Over in Buskirk, they've got a little park right there on the river, and that's supposedly where those 3 McCoy boys got killed. I'd be wondering if there was if there's ever been an investigation done there.
Ooh, that would be cool. We could go down there with our equipment.
Yeah, our new stuff.
With our Ghostbuster and equipment.
Yeah, that would be the one place that I would think it, possibly, because those boys thought they were going to get to go home. They were letting them go, and they took them over and got them into Kentucky and killed them. And I just wonder, is that place haunted?
You would think that the tourism board would just be like all over that come around Halloween. You know what I mean?
You would think, yeah.
Yeah, you'd think. But I was actually just kind of sitting here looking on the computer, and the Octavia Hatcher story is number 6 out of the urban legends of Kentucky.
What is it?
The Octavia Hatcher, the lady was supposed to have been, she died, or that went into a coma, and they thought she was dead, and they buried her, and
she was alive.
Yeah, I watched a show on that.
Yeah. It made the list, so.
Hey, Snowman, what's number 1 on that list?
Hang on, and I'll tell you.
Did everyone enjoy Candy Cane?
Yeah.
Everybody enjoyed Candy
Yeah.
Cane. Thank you, Candy Cane.
You need to
She's
add
gone.
Candy as a regular.
Yes.
Let's not get carried away there, Elliot. Elliot.
It just says the Ghost of Louisville is number 1, but now this is quite a long article on it.
I mean, you got the Sealbach Hotel, you got Waverly Hills, you've got
There's
so much stuff in Louisville.
it says it's the largest intact Victorian neighborhood in the world.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, you
wow.
got Old Town. Yeah,
There's
Yeah.
underground too, Louisville in there.
yeah. There's underground Louisville. Yeah, all kinds of stuff in Louisville.
But there's those big caves in Louisville too, right?
Yep,
Mhm.
yep. They do the Christmas lights and the pumpkins and inside that, the pumpkins at Halloween, Christmas lights at Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're old enough. Do you remember the 3 bridges that went into Pikeville? Back
Three
before they did the cut through. Yeah, there was a lower bridge, a middle bridge, and an upper bridge. That's what they were called.
Hmm.
But at Halloween, the high school kids would go around and steal pumpkins off of the porches of people, and they would go down to the lower bridge and climb. Now this was a 3-span arch steel bridge, so they would climb up on top and they would line those pumpkins and light them all across the front of that bridge. And they did it as a prank, but you talk about something that's really cool when you just all of a sudden you come around that curve and here's all these pumpkins lit up on this bridge.
That would be cool.
That
It-
sounds
it was-
awesome.
Yeah, and that was always a fun part of. I never was into the stealing the pumpkins. I was more on the ones of throwing the eggs.
Oh, you're the worst. I hate an egg.
Did you guys ever do cabbage night?
Mm-mm.
No,
We did
okay.
cabbage night. It was the night before Halloween, and we would go out and paraffin windshields. That was a fun thing to do. Take paraffin, and we were mean.
Wow.
And we did the eggs too. We
Your
were mean,
generation
but
is
we
why
did
my
that on
generation
cabbage
couldn't have any
night.
fun.
The grocery stores in the little town I grew up in quit selling eggs at noon on cabbage night.
It's not
think that's-
surprising.
I think that's so weird that like different places had different names for that
Yes.
night. Like some places
Different
called it
foods.
Devil's Night, and, Mischief Night, and Cabbage Night. And I think
Right.
there was a place in New Jersey that called it Goosey Night, and
Oh, wow.
like all kinds of different stuff. But I thought that was
Oh,
I
it
always
was
thought that was
bad. When we were kids, it was bad. You didn't go out on the streets at night because you'd get smashed by an egg.
Well, that's what I said. Listen, there is nothing worse than eggs on a windshield.
Mm-hmm.
I hate an egg. Oh my gosh.
Well, we put paraffin on there. You can't get it off.
Ugh, it's terrible.
Oh my God! Well, when I was little, my sister was sick and didn't get to go trick or treat. So I went out and I was trick or treating for both of us. I had this plastic pumpkin to get my candy in, and doggone these high school boys, they drove by, and I don't know, I was probably 9 or 10 years old. Maybe I was probably younger than that. And they drove by, and it was a perfect lob with an egg, and it went right down that candy bucket and busted out.
Oh,
Yeah.
your sister. Poor, I feel so sorry for her.
That's funny. That's too funny.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure where we're at on time. I forgot to set my alarm clock. So I've got one other thing that I want to talk about before we wrap up. And this is an article from Newsweek. It says 3 recent former U.S. presidents have broached the subjects of UFOs in the past: Donald Trump, Barack Obama, and Bill Clinton. Now, I've said in the past that Trump and Obama obviously know something, because if you've ever watched any of the Obama interviews on like Jimmy Fallon or anything like that, whenever he is asked about UFOs or aliens or existence of such, he has kind of like a it makes me think that he knows something.
I
So-
agree. And Trump answered that question.
Yes.
And he said, I don't know. I don't know about any, but I don't know. the way he answered it, I thought the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They can't tell us. I mean, really.
And Clinton, I'm pretty sure Clinton was going to let it out of the bag, and I'm pretty sure that his wife stepped in and probably silenced
It was a
him.
big deal when Clinton was in, because he came out on a speech and he said, if there's any aliens, they haven't told me either. It was a big deal part of his campaign, because they wanted to release that information.
Well, see, if you watch that Stephen Greer, he was all set. Oh gosh, what's his name? Podesta, that was part of Clinton's cabinet there.
John.
They were wanting, yes, they were wanting to release all that, and and Stephen Greer, you know, I don't know, I guess he's a pretty good actor as well as a doctor, because he starts crying, he starts telling this story, and
I didn't understand that part.
And all of a sudden they just dropped everything and backed away, you know. And what makes me think is, you know, that the CIA or whoever or whatever agency's in charge of all that come by and said, you know, it didn't take much to take Kennedy out. You want to be the next one, you know, and he backed off of it.
Well, and again, I said Hillary. I just say Hillary because she supposedly kills everyone that dies of suicide. So I'm just making a joke, everybody.
Yeah.
I think the closest president, and I think he actually told us if we were paying attention, was probably Reagan.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes.
There was a couple times Reagan made statements like, like when they were watching, was it E.T. and he leaned over to Steve Spielberg and said, only a couple people in this room know how true this movie is, or
how close you got it.
Yeah. And my favorite one though was when he supposedly asked Gorbachev, you know, would Russia stand with us if we were attacked by somebody? You know, and I mean,
Gorbachev said yes.
Yeah, and to me that seems like he was trying to tell us something. You know,
well,
he had a close encounter himself, didn't he?
Yeah, two different occasions.
Yeah, I remember once he was on either Air Force One or some other kind of jet, and they saw something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he was governor when that happened.
Governor of California, yeah.
And then supposedly he and Nancy had gotten abducted as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, a long time. I remember. Yeah.
And they also made a comment there that we had a shuttle that could take 300 people.
Yeah.
We didn't have a shuttle to take 300 people. You know, I mean, you might get 30 or 40 in it. But he says we have a shuttle that could carry 300 people to space. And
keep in mind, this is in the 80s.
In the 80s.
So who knows what we actually have now?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nobody knows.
If you want to look at Space Force, I mean, not the Space Force that Trump announced, but the actual the one that the hacker found, where he found records of there actually being pilots that were in space.
Mm-hmm.
You know, who knows? I mean, heavy's the head that wears the crown, and like you look at these people when they become president, and then a picture of them 4 years later, or a picture of them 8 years later.
Gosh, yeah.
And, I mean, it ages them, and like what all do they know, and what all can't they say?
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you, when I was a kid, my best friend that I used to hang with had an older brother that was a bigwig at Wright Pat. Now, of course, we didn't live that far from Wright Pat, like an hour. So he would go to work, and on the weekends he would come down there in his uniform and that, you know, he was a lot older than us, but we asked him, we were, 10, 11 years old. We're like, because we always heard, is there spacemen up at Wright Pat? And he wasn't joking. And he said, yes, there is. And he said, it'll come out. So I believe it.
Yeah. Well, and that goes to Donald Trump starting the Space Force. He
didn't start the Space Force. He just made it his own branch. I mean, it was already there.
Right.
But he initiated.
They say their primary mission is to, work with satellites and, try to guard against other countries messing with their stuff. But me personally, I think it just got too big that they really can't hide it anymore.
Yeah.
It costs so much money that now they have a branch of government that they can fund and they can do the things they want to do.
Well, look what society has now. We all have a camera. We all have a video camera. So, you know, they tape everything there is in the world anymore. There's too many videos coming out.
Yes.
That they can't explain.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to do something.
Sorry about that. I was saying bye to Candy Cane. She's leaving, but yeah,
Bye, Candy Cane.
That's actually probably a pretty good idea is to have her on because she has some very interesting
Yes,
paranormal activities that just happened to her. So may have to reach out to her in the future. But in June of 2019, Trump responded to reports that Navy pilots had spotted UFOs off the eastern seaboard in 14 and 15 on an almost daily basis, according to New York Magazine. Trump told ABC's George Stephanopoulos that month that we're watching for extraterrestrials. I want them to think whatever they think, Trump said of the pilots. I did have one very brief meeting on it, he said, but people are saying they're seeing UFOs. Do I believe it? Not particularly. In 2020, or in April of 2020, Trump responded to 3 infrared videos released by the Pentagon that showed unidentified objects in the sky traveling at high speeds. Some service members in the videos reacted with awe, according to CNN. I just wondered if it was real, Trump said. That's a hell of a video. Trump also suggested that he knew more about the topic than he was saying publicly in an interview with his son, Donald Trump Jr., referring to the alleged UFO incident at Roswell in New Mexico in 1947. He said, I won't talk to you about what I know about it, but it's very interesting. Former President Obama was more direct about the UFOs in comments on Monday, though he didn't provide any information that he might have received during his years in office from 2009 to 17. What is true, and I'm actually being serious here, is that there is footage of and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are, Obama said on The Late Show with James Corden. We can't explain how they move, their trajectory, he said. They did not have an especially explainable pattern, and so I think that people still take seriously trying to investigate and figure out what that is. Former President Clinton took a sincere interest in UFOs during his presidency from 93 to 01. Clinton genuinely wanted to know what the U.S. government knew about UFOs, according to his memoirs of his Associate Attorney General Webster Hubbell. During a visit to Belfast, Northern Ireland in 96, Clinton publicly answered a letter from a child named Ryan about Roswell. No, as far as I know, an alien spacecraft did not crash in Roswell. And Ryan, if the United States Air Force did recover any alien bodies, they did not tell me about it either, and I want to know. Clinton told Jimmy Kimmel in 2014 that he had aides search Area 51 to make sure there was no aliens down there, according to the Daily Beast. He also said he would have told the public if he found anything. If we were visited someday, I wouldn't be surprised, Clinton said. I just hope it's not like Independence Day. So that just goes to show you that they know stuff. They know something. If you read between the lines, they're just trying to not cause a hysteric reaction.
The way he answered that was very specific. We didn't have any aircraft.
Right.
Okay. So what kind of space was it? Was it a craft that was being tested? Was it a craft from another country? Was it, you know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
Yes.
So.
Well, and also I noticed he said that he had aides go down there. So I'm not sure if he means down in Area 51, as in it's an underground base,
or they just showed up at the mailbox.
Or yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Hey, you got anything in there? Nope. Okay.
So.
Or at the alien restaurant there.
Little alien.
Where you went.
Yeah, my favorite. I want to go back.
Well,
maybe one day we'll have it.
From the base is what she's asking.
Do what now?
How far is it from the base is what she is asking.
Oh, it's 26 miles from the longest runway to the base.
Wow.
Or to little alien.
So, hey, did you go to the mailbox while you were there?
I did, and there's pictures on my Facebook.
Awesome. I've always wanted to go there, but I can't even make it up to Point Pleasant. So, it's looking down.
I think the Paranormal Trucker and the Spooky family should all get together and rent an RV one summer and travel to Nevada.
I'm down.
Sounds
I
cool.
got a camper.
It'll be fun.
There we go. I think it'll be an excellent trip. With a
Imagine
little
all-
Alien, I can spend another $300 on Alien inflatables. It'll be amazing.
Inflatables.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You didn't get a inflatable alien sex doll, did you?
Of course I
Oh,
did.
man.
Please tell me not.
Of course I did.
Oh my God.
It was a smoking
I
bargain.
gotta get a bag and put over my head now.
It was only $69.99.
I've got to get a bag and put over
Smoking
my head
bargain.
He calls
Oh,
her
yeah.
Eileen.
Yeah,
Eileen
exactly.
the alien.
now.
Eileen the Alien.
Oh,
Right.
Well,
That's fair.
Snowman, do you have anything else for us this week?
no. I think that's good.
Large Marge?
No.
No. Well, I like how you transformed from everyday Marge to Large Marge.
Like instantaneously. Like
Yeah, it was
Right.
amazing.
That's right.
Of course, our guest this week is the spooky family, Elliot and Grundy, or Gertie, as you prefer. How is what can our listeners expect to hear from you guys? Do you think you want to plug this week?
Hey, listen, we just got some great interviews coming up. Like I said, Chris Epling from Epling Illustrations, the author of the Hillbilly Bigfoot Survival Guide. We've got Paranormal Trucker. We've got the big Halloween countdown coming up, including the 64 mass murderer tournament that we're going to run. We've got all kinds of cool stuff. We got the live ghost or the semi-live ghost hunt coming up at the end of September. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
Wow.
Not something we want to plug, but just prayers and love go to everybody down in Louisiana with the hurricane that's hitting there right
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Six-
160-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah,
I watched it on the
16
news.
16 years to the day from Katrina.
Right.
So
12 to 16-foot storm wave.
yeah,
I'm watching it on the news right now. It's terrible.
it's incredible. So prayers and love to them. We've got friends that live down in that area and listeners, and just we're praying for you, and we hope everything. Other than that, man, just thank you so much for having us on. We are, like I said, we're your biggest fans. Love the podcast. Can't wait for the future episodes and all the stuff you're going to bring to the table, man. And just thanks again.
No problem. And we are your biggest fans. And thank you for being with us tonight. That's Elliot and Gertie of the Spooky Family. You can catch them every week. What day does your podcast drop on? It's Monday, right?
Thursday.
Thursday. I'm sorry. I
Elliot,
mixed up my letters.
It's Thursday. It's Thursday. It's no big deal. You can listen to last week's episode on Monday and then the new one on Thursday.
There we go. New episodes
There we
every
go.
Thursday on and where can they find you at?
We're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, just anywhere you find podcasts. That's where we are.
Perfect. Anywhere you listen to your quality podcast, you will find Quality Spooky Family.
There you go. Thank you so much.
No problem, guys. And thank you all for being here. Until next week, keep the shiny side up and keep it between the ditches. And we'll see you Sunday.
See ya.
See ya.